Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make these reversible shortalls, also known as Jon Jons or a romper. What you're going to need to do is get some paper and start drawing out your pattern. I'm going to do the method where I take clothing that fits, so I'm going to find the high waist measurement on my shirt, mark it with a pen and lay that on the paper. Then take a pair of pants or a pair of shorts, fold it in half on the front and then measure down 5 inches for the length. This is the length I'm choosing to do. Then you just fold that up and put it on the piece of paper like so. And you're going to trace all the way around this. Now just taking a ruler, I'm going to straighten out the edges and just trace around my markings that I made. I gotta label this my front. And then we need to work on the back pattern, and we're going to do the same thing, just fold in the shirt and the pants to the back and trace around that. I'm adding an inch to the back, and I'm making the back strap 5 inches longer. Now I'm just going to straighten out those edges and trace all the way around it. Make sure when you cut out your pieces that they're even. You're also going to want to make sure that you add seam allowance all the way around and making sure that the butt curve is a deep curve. And that these are the same height as well. Now here's the materials you're going to need. You're also going to need snaps. So when I cut out my pieces, I cut out 4 fronts and 4 backs. 2 in one print and 2 in the other. And they're mirrored. So taking the front pieces, we're going to take one side and then take the other, put it right sides touching, and sew along this seam right here. Repeat that same thing for the other front side. Once it's done, it should look like this. Now working on the back pieces, you do the same exact thing. So you have 2 fronts, 2 backs. Take your front pieces and face them right sides touching. And you're going to pin and sew just along the top of this front piece. And then to the bottom, we're also going to pin and sew all along the bottom, even right here. Once it's done, we're going to snip it to make sure that we snip the corners and the curves so that they lay flush. Do the same thing for the back, except at the bottom we need to leave an opening so that we can turn it right side out later on. So here's the back all finished and notched up. And here's our opening. Now we're going to turn one right side out and one inside out. And put it inside the other one, facing the prints, right sides touching. So I'm going to face my 2 deer pieces, right sides touching on both sides, and my 2 gray pieces, right side touching on both sides, making sure I line up the seams and pin all the way around. So I'm just going to sew around that, and this is what it's looking like. And I'm going to repeat the same exact thing to the other side, making sure I match up the prints and making sure that I match up the seams. And here it is, all sewn up. Now we go through that hole at the bottom, and we're going to turn it all right side out. Now we need to wiggle those seams out, making sure that it's all out. Taking our opening and pinning it shut, and then we need to top stitch all along the bottom. We also need a top stitch all along the top. Now moving on to the snaps. These are my favorite snaps to use. We're going to need 2 male pieces and 2 female pieces and 4 flats. I'm going to measure down a 1/2 inch on all my straps and mark it to know where I'm going to put my snaps in at. Now I'm going to take my piercing tool and just pierce through the fabric and put my flat side on the bottom, and then put a male or a female piece, doesn't matter. Squeeze the clamp down and it's on. Repeat the same thing for the other side. Now those are done. Now we need to pierce through the tops, put the flat on the opposite side, and then your male or female there, clamp it down, and it's on. Snaps are so easy to use, and they're absolutely my favorite for kid clothes. Repeat the same thing on the other one, and the top is done. And as you can see, it's going to snap up just fine on the other side too, just opposite. You can use the same snaps for the bottom, but I'm choosing to use a snap tape just to show you an easier method. I'm just going to take the snap tape and cut it to size I need, which is about 4 snaps here. Pin and sew one side of the snaps to the bottom here on one side of the print. And then take the other side on the opposite side of the fabric and pin it down and sew it. And it'll snap together like this. And here's what it's looking like. And as you can see, it works out perfect on the other side of the fabric as well. I also made this one, and I put a fish on the front for this little cutie here. So get creative, the possibilities are endless. I hope you guys loved this tutorial, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my channel, then please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.